How Mums Ran the House in 1930s. Britain. The 1930s in Britain were a decade of contrasts. Hardship for many, change for all, and resilience at the heart of everyday life. While the nation grappled with the Great Depression, unemployment, and looming war, households relied on one steady presence: mums. They ran homes with resourcefulness and discipline, making sure families were fed, clothed, and cared for despite limited means. From cooking on coal stoves to stretching every penny, British mums shaped family life. Here's how mums ran the house in 1930s. Britain, keeping everything together through sheer determination. 1. Stretching. Every penny. The art of household budgeting. Life. In 1930s, Britain meant every shilling had to work hard. With unemployment peaking at over 20% in some industrial regions, many families lived on reduced wages or sporadic work. Housewives, often referred to as mothers of the house, became masters of frugality. They tracked weekly rent, coal deliveries, grocery costs, and school fees in handwritten notebooks. Meals were planned with affordability in mind. Lentil soups, vegetable stews, bread and dripping, and mock dishes made from cheaper ingredients. Meat was often a Sunday-only treat, with leftovers stretched into pies or broths. Even coal for heating and cooking had to be rationed carefully, with mums deciding whether to keep the fire going through the day or light it only for meals. Clothes weren't bought frequently, but repaired, repurposed, and handed down. A patched pair of trousers or a turned collar wasn't a mark of shame. It was a mark of a clever and capable mum. British family life in the 1930s revolved around this ability to make the best of limited resources. 2. Cooking on coal and gas, keeping families fed. Running a home in the 1930s meant the kitchen was both the workplace and the heart of the house. Most working-class homes still used coal-fired ranges, which doubled as stoves and heaters. The wealthier or city-based families had started to adopt gas cookers, advertised as modern and time-saving, though these were still considered luxuries. Mums cooked simple, hearty dishes designed to fill stomachs on a budget. Stews bulked up with barley or potatoes, bread puddings made from stale loaves, and boiled vegetables featured heavily. Housewives in Britain relied on seasonal produce, local markets, and allotments where families grew cabbages, carrots, and rhubarb. Preserving food was a practical art. Bottling fruit, pickling vegetables, and salting meats ensured nothing went to waste. Sunday dinner, however modest, remained a ritual. A small joint of beef or lamb, roasted with potatoes, symbolized family unity. The leftovers reappeared on Monday as shepherd's pie or minced rissoles. Mums often baked bread at home, filling kitchens with warm smells that masked the damp chill of coal smoke. Cooking wasn't just about food, it was about love, expressed through every carefully prepared meal. 3. Cleaning as a daily ritual. Without washing machines, hoovers, or dishwashers, housework in 1930s Britain was relentless. Monday was washing day, an almost sacred routine that left backyards filled with steaming tubs, mangles, and lines of dripping laundry. Mothers boiled clothes in big coppers, scrubbed them on washboards, then wrung them out before pegging them up to dry. Soap flakes and soda crystals were staples. Carpets and rugs were beaten outside with sticks to remove soot and coal dust. Floors were scrubbed on hands and knees, furniture polished with beeswax, and brass fittings shined. Windows had to be cleaned with vinegar water, and fireplaces cleared of ash daily. British mums in the 1930s were judged by the tidiness of their homes. Respectability mattered deeply, especially in working-class neighborhoods where gossip thrived. A well-scrubbed doorstep and polished kettle symbolized pride, even if the family lived in cramped or modest conditions. Running the home was a full-time job, with physical labor woven into every hour of the day. 4. Mending and making clothes. The wardrobe economy. In an era when a new dress could cost a week's wages, mums relied on skill with a needle and thread. They patched worn trousers, rehemmed skirts, darned socks, and turned collars on men's shirts to give them longer life. Knitting was an essential skill. Women produced warm jumpers, gloves, and scarves for their families, often reusing wool unraveled from old garments. Children rarely had wardrobes stuffed with clothes. Everyday wear was often one or two outfits, kept presentable through constant repairs. Sunday-best clothing was carefully guarded for church or special occasions. Girls' dresses might be made from men's old shirts, while boys wore shorts and hand-me-down jackets until they outgrew them. Clothes rationing hadn't yet begun, that would come in wartime, but scarcity already defined daily life in the 1930s UK. Many women also took in sewing or laundry work for extra income, proving that running the home wasn't just about saving. It was about earning wherever possible. 5. Raising children with firm hands and warm hearts. Family life was disciplined but affectionate. Mothers were often the primary caregivers, while fathers worked long hours or searched for jobs. Children were expected to contribute to the running of the home, fetching coal, running errands, or minding younger siblings. School attendance was compulsory, but in poorer households, older children sometimes missed days to help with chores or small earnings. Play was simple and often outdoors: hopscotch, skipping, marbles, and football in the street. Homemade toys like rag dolls or tin can telephones were cherished. Despite the hardships, British mums in the 1930s created warmth within the home. Bedtime stories told by the fireside, homemade treats on birthdays, and family prayers at night built a sense of security. Discipline was firm. Misbehavior often met with stern words or physical punishment, but it was balanced with love. Mums instilled values of respect, thrift, and resilience, traits that would serve their children well during the turbulent war years to come. 6. Managing health and home remedies. With the National Health Service still over a decade away, healthcare in the 1930s was expensive. Doctor visits often had to be paid out of pocket, so mums became the front line of family medicine. Knowledge of home remedies was passed down through generations. Goose fat rubbed on the chest for coughs, mustard plasters for congestion, and vinegar for soothing bruises. Cod liver oil was widely given to children to promote strong bones and ward off rickets. Herbal teas and poultices made from kitchen ingredients stood in for modern medicines. Mothers also prioritized hygiene. Regular baths, boiled water for baby bottles, and scrubbing of floors were seen as essential for health. Though infant mortality rates were still high by today's standards, mothers' vigilance and care were vital. In industrial towns plagued by smog and poor sanitation, the health of a family often rested squarely on a mother's shoulders. 7. Community and social roles. Beyond the front door. Running the house in 1930s. Britain didn't end with the family. Women were linchpins of their communities. They joined church groups, ran jumble sales, and organized charitable collections for neighbors in need. Informal networks of support flourished, borrowing sugar, swapping recipes, or minding children for one another. During hard times, this community spirit was crucial. In mining villages or mill towns hit by unemployment, women shared food and labor. Stories abound of mothers cooking one large pot of stew to feed not just their own family, but a struggling neighbor's children too. Housewives in Britain also participated in cultural life. Women's institutes, mothers' unions, and church choirs gave them social outlets, while also reinforcing values of thrift, discipline, and duty. The image of the respectable housewife became a cornerstone of British identity during this era. 8. Preparing for the uncertain future. By the late 1930s, the shadow of war loomed. Mothers became household strategists for survival. Gas masks were distributed, and mums taught children how to wear them. Air raid precautions, like blackout curtains and emergency drills, became part of family life. Some women began quietly stockpiling non-perishable foods when possible. Others joined volunteer efforts, sewing bandages, or helping in local preparedness committees. Though Britain hadn't yet entered the war, mothers in the 1930s bore the emotional weight of protecting their families in uncertain times. This foresight and resilience would become invaluable just a year later when rationing, evacuations, and bomb shelters redefined family life entirely. Mums in 1930s, Britain kept households alive through thrift, skill, and love. They balanced endless chores with firm parenting, community support, and quiet resilience in the face of poverty and uncertainty. In many ways, they were unsung heroes, architects of British family life, whose strength laid the foundation for survival in the years ahead. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.